Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
This is my top 5 Eddie Murphy movies. A guy that's had a crazy kind of career, been in some of the best comedy films of my lifetime, and also been in some of the worst movies of all time. It's kind of amazing. It's especially in his current part of his career. Like, he'll have some really good ones, which I'll talk about some. Even Coming to America, the most recent release, the sequel to Coming to America, was amazing. But he's done a lot of stinkers in kind of his latter career. But let's get into it with my top 5. My first pick of my top 5 list, my number 5 film of Eddie Murphy is 48 Hours. The movie I revisited. I watched a bunch of Eddie Murphy movies recently to kind of just refresh myself on some of his films to do this list. Things that I haven't seen or just haven't seen in a long time. 48 Hours is one of those where I feel like I've seen it in the past, but I know it's been a long time. It's not a film that I remembered, but it's great. It's definitely a movie that is packed with racism. There is a lot of racism, but this movie, I believe it was Eddie Murphy's first film. It kind of started the buddy cop genre of films, like Lethal Weapon, or even, most of Jackie Chan's career. Just a lot of that kind of genre came from this. And Eddie Murphy plays a convict who has this amazing scene where he's going into this redneck bar, and he pretends to be a cop and breaks all these racists down. It's also very interesting to watch this film during a current climate where, a lot of that racism still exists. It just exists within a political party that seems to be amplified due to our former president. So interesting to see it kind of portrayed in a film that you couldn't make this film today. The amount of racism that's in this film is ridiculous. Just Nick Nolte's racism towards Eddie Murphy in this film is crazy. But yeah, 48 Hours, probably one of the best performances. At least that scene is an amazing scene by Eddie Murphy, despite how problematic the film is itself. But it's a great film. It's a great movie. Eddie's perfect in it. But moving on to my fourth pick of Eddie Murphy movies, my number 4 is a recent one. Like I said, he's a hit or miss, and this one was a big hit for me. Number 4 is Dolomite Is My Name. Just a film about filmmaking, a film about a guy named Dolomite trying to produce his own film. Wesley Snipes is amazing in this movie. Just great from top to bottom. It was, I think it was a Netflix release, and I just enjoyed it. It's one of those movies where, great performances top to bottom. It was fun to watch. I love kind of any movie that portrays an artist trying to self-produce a thing or trying to grow as an artist, and it shows it from somebody who was trying to make films, legitimately trying to make films back in the day, and successfully did. And this is kind of very similar in a lot of ways to Bowfinger, which is not on my list, but I think a better portrayal of that kind of idea of filmmaking. But yeah, Dolomite Is My Name is number 4. Number 3 is Trading Places, a film that it is Dan Aykroyd is a big one. The premise of the film is funny. This film is also kind of in a universe of Eddie Murphy films, according to one movie that will come up later on in the draft. But Trading Places is just great, premise of a poor guy being able to have all of the privilege of a white person for the most part, is at least from a monetary standpoint, to have that kind of power with the dollar, and for somebody of privilege to be kicked down, and for them, it's like it's a body swap film without body swapping. It's a class swapping film. You go the rich man becomes poor and the poor man becomes rich, which is something you really don't see a lot. There's a lot more of the bodies. There are more films that are doing Groundhog Day style storytelling versus something like this, which I think something like this would definitely. I mean, it's something that's far as the wealthy people getting away with doing insane things and controlling people, it's still a very current and relatable thing going on today. But yeah, Trading Places, just a great classic Christmas film. I believe it takes place. I mean, it's definitely snowing. It definitely takes place during Christmas time, but a great classic comedy with Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd. Great stuff. Now, moving on to my number 2 film. This is a film that is very Eddie Murphy. This is a film that, recently revisited and just so good. So good. It has the Eddie Murphy playing multiple characters, it has Arsenio Hall playing multiple characters, and that movie is coming to America. The original, although the sequel could have easily been on this list. I could switch 48 Hours for Coming to America, the most recent release sequel, but I just think, I mean, that one's so good as well, but I think it's got a little bit of problems trying to do a little bit too much. But the original is amazing. You have amazing performances by not only Eddie Murphy playing multiple characters, playing characters of the barbershop crew, but also Arsenio Hall doing the same thing. It's a shame Arsenio Hall doesn't have a bigger career. But yeah, Coming to America, the fairy tale of a prince trying to find true love in Queens, trying to experience life away from the privilege of money and living a poor life, at least getting a taste of what it's like. The McDowells parts of the film are hilarious. The score of the film with the electronic saxophone is super 80s. I love the love story. It's great. I mean, just finding true love is always heartwarming. But so many great characters, so many great cameos. Just one of the most Eddie Murphy movies. But it's not enough to be my number one. Let's move on to my number 1 pick, my favorite of the Eddie Murphy movies. Now, this is not only the number 1 film because it's great. It's not only the number 1 film because I think it's, just one of the best movies that he's been the lead of. But I think it's a culmination of a lot of things. My number 1 film for Eddie Murphy is Beverly Hills Cop, the original Beverly Hills movie. This is a movie that's doing similar things that 48 Hours did, except for Eddie Murphy is the lead. He is the star of this film. This movie has amazing acting, amazing comedic acting, as well as some dramatic moments. I mean, the movie itself opens with his best friend getting murdered. Has pretty rough scene for a comedy. Has Eddie Murphy going to L.A., so you have that fish out of water thing. You also get to see how charming he is while he's conning different people to kind of try and find the killers of his friend, while also forming a bond with the kind of doofus cops who end up kind of being the sidekick to him in the sequels. But this is, I mean, it's probably my first Eddie Murphy movie that I loved. I loved the Beverly Hills Cop franchise. I haven't revisited all of the movies, but I did rewatch this one, and it's great, man. He's an amazing lead, especially for this kind of thing. I mean, he's such a smart, charismatic guy in such a great movie. I mean, the soundtrack is memorable. His performance is memorable. Just so much of this movie, for me, for nostalgic purposes, 1 and 2 in this list. I could easily see Coming to America being the cream of the crop, considering it is him doing multiple characters, which is something that he's really well known for doing, as well as having so many cameos from so many amazing black actors and comedians in Coming to America. But for me personally, Beverly Hills Cop is my number one pick, and just a great movie from top to bottom. It has, it hits on things that most comedies don't do. It hits on things that most action movies don't do, and it's got a lot of heart to it. And it's just, it's also one of my favorite characters. So yeah, that's my list. Let me run through my top 5 Eddie Murphy movies, starting with number 5, 48 Hours. Number 4, Dolomite Is My Name. Number 3, Trading Places. Number 2 is Coming to America. And number 1 is Beverly Hills Cop. Let me know in the comments what your favorite Eddie Murphy movies are. Are there any movies that I should check out that should have hit this list that I maybe just didn't see? Because I didn't rewatch all of his movies, but I kind of went through and refreshed on the movies that I thought should be on the list. So let me know how wrong I am when it compares to your list, and go enjoy yourself some Eddie Murphy movies, man. He's got a lot of great ones out there that aren't the bad ones. Yeah. Eddie Murphy. Get yourself a free subscription to Kindle Unlimited when you go through my link, inspireddisorder.com/Kindle. That's unlimited reading and listening on any device. If you're a fan of stories and books and all of the things that can be printed in Word or read aloud, get yourself a free trial of Kindle Unlimited. Go through my link, inspireddisorder.com/Kindle. Sign up now and enjoy your reading. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com. And follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!